Hello. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone's day is going pretty well. We yeah. Yeah, we're playing more Tales
You're done.
per usual. As you remember last time,
Thinking about what could be
I
lurking
had
out
to
here
leave
is
real
giving
quick.
me the heebie-jeebies.
Um,
For such a loudmouth, you
but
sure can be a worrywart
yeah,
at
no,
times.
we're just gonna run
Oh,
back.
I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would
Nah,
you
we
two
need to stay
children
safe.
stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many Renans actually live in this place?
Oh
I couldn't
shit!
tell
I
you
forgot that
exactly,
I
though
bought
not
some
as many
Pokemon
as you might
cards today.
expect. Machines and Zoogles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zoogles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
There's Zoogles here. Yeah, I opened up. So I opened up some Pokemon cards. I went to the card shop that I go to, in town, and I picked up they have like a mystery bag of Pokemon cards. I picked that up, opened all that up before stream, and then completely forgot about the. Yes, I'll open it up while we're watching this again. The new Astral Radiance set. If I get anything cool, I'll pop on. I'll pop on my webcam. Here's how you know that I'm actually doing it. That wonderful pack opening ASMR.
What in the world?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But
Ah,
this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegus changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Are you sure about
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
that? Nah.
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
No, it's not. Fuck off.
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Oh shit, boy. Yeah, a lot to talk about. I got a
Someone
lot
you
to
know?
speed you up on.
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
All right, pack update.
I'm really
Open
not
all three
sure.
packs. Got nothing.
The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me, the less you know, the better.
You're
Just
the
like that
same
Tame
as
Impala song.
I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Avakir, you're useless.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I'm not going to.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
Oh, is
I've
that the
no
lady
doubt
that
of that.
he killed, like her lover or something like that? Best friends. I
You
don't remember.
really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Doe?
Yeah, Dolim.
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless
Good job
about what's
changing the
going on up
subject.
here in their own world.
Smart move.
Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
Yeah.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
We do need to
Let's
find the
leave
Forbidden
talking
Zone.
to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak
Among
out?
Us.
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Well, I mean, you know, Law,
That
it's
could
kind of
be so
beneficial at this point.
important. It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
We kind of do. I'm sure we do. I mean, we're just standing and chatting right now.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you
Maybe.
mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes.
Chaos control!
You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry, that probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping we get some answers. I mean, I imagine that we're getting close to where the ending. I would assume so, at least. Even the Zugals are running loose. Oh no. The fuck was that noise? Oh. Oh yeah, this whole place is fucked, dude.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zugals have stopped heeding our
Oh, no.
commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it.
That's terrible.
But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty. the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First, Lanagus mutates beyond recognition. Now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest
Yeah,
crown
so about that
contest.
crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Yeah, kind of Dolib has it in the bag. Like, by default, but I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. What's in here? Anything in here? Aha, we do. We have a chest. 3 strawberries. Fuck yeah. Oh. Let's steal this orange gel real quick, y'all. Ooh, fancy parfait recipe. Thanks, old
Everything
lady.
will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Hello there, sir. Would you happen to know what's going on? Or where to
Your
find the
lordship.
Forbidden Zone?
Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Wow.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a
Seems
woman
a little
dressed all
remorseful.
in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat.
Yeah,
too.
she would stand out pretty hard.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
I like how everyone's like, oh, this shit, everything could just collapse at any moment. Let's just stand around. Oh no, we have to put the crown contest on hold? How terrible. I'll talk to you in a second. There's nothing here. Okay. Oh. Hello there, miss. Do you happen to know about a woman in red?
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Hmm? Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana.
Yeah. I'm here on a special duty. Don't worry
Yes,
about it.
strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
It's probably not
Will you
safe.
really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
Yeah, no,
You'd
they really
think
haven't.
That info would easily find its way up here. Has it
You would
always been
think.
like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
One guy
geez,
even
just
said
another day.
Google had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules
course.
from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
You would imagine.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
What?
No, I haven't.
What do you mean the homeland?
Neither have I. In which case...
It's not the homeland?
I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Yeah, Dolim, what are you getting at?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
What?
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign, though it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
That is interesting.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
Could be.
I can't say for sure, but it
I
certainly
mean, it's very well
sounds like it.
possible.
But that would mean that 2 sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Ooh, I wonder if that's the woman in red.
And yet more
I wonder if she's a
questions.
maiden.
Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
Yeah, let's go. Got nothing better to look for. Oh.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind.
Nah,
Maybe
they're like
anyone who
broken.
finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Art of conversation.
Tell me, Dohalim.
Keep on with the
Has that skill of yours
cutscenes.
got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
It's the gift
I'm
of
afraid
gab.
I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it. How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training?
Law, you're gonna need to drop your octaves at
let's
least. Like,
see.
drop down like
An
4
obsession
octaves in
with
your
being
voice.
Elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I want to
wasn't
know what kind of
expecting them to
poses
take
they're
me so
doing.
Seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Ah, cheerio there, bud.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do.
I don't know, die?
I mean,
Maybe,
their
I guess.
sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still
Well, I mean-
around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
Yeah, Dohalim's kind of the only lord left.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Cannabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Yeah, we just fucking killed him
Well,
super
yeah,
quick.
why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
Yeah, but what about
I
their
know.
backstory?
But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Oh. Remember, guys, we gotta get to this forbidden zone. We can't just sit around and chit-chat, dilly-dally, all that kind of good stuff. Hey, let's stick around, let's chit-chat, let's dilly-dally with these people. You know, I'm gonna get you last, because you're all the way over here. Well, I never think anyone would try to tear me away from House Vicarious.
What?
what do you want? Don't tell me you work for another Lord Dolheim or that dreadful Lord Aladria, do you? If you don't, well, don't scare me like that. To answer your question, I come from a family that served House Vicarious for generations. Indeed, I'm doing all I can to support Lord Ganabelt behind the scenes so that he might emerge victorious. Many think of him as a cruel man, but I assess they're utterly mistaken. Though I won't deny he can be strict, he puts Rena's interests front and center like no one else. Why he advocates that rather they stay confined to Lenegis, we should get on to colonizing Dana and expanding our horizons. That way we'll become masters of both worlds and overturn our current minority status on the Dana surface. That is why he seeks to become our next sovereign. Tell me, is there a greater, more noble ambition than that? I think not. In a pursuit of power for the advancement of our kind, all of our kind, it is what makes him an exemplary lord, a model above all others. Though I was unable to accompany him myself, my two sons have been blessed with the honor of joining him on the surface. As their father, it fills me with endless pride. Wow.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Because he was a prick. Lord Dolheim, you have returned. You brought aids with you. No, I have no idea. I'm sure he doesn't have any idea. Not only do I suppose House Elkiris, but more specifically his lordship person. So much so, I've been trying to share my appreciation of his lordship to anyone who will listen. In fact, I was planning on publishing my extensive writings on the subject through this very terminal for all to read and enjoy. Since the lines appear to be cut due to the recent tumult, I've been unable to upload them. I shall read them aloud. There exists a handsome man, a man who radiance beauty, whose every word, every syllable is divine poetry. He hails from the famed house Elkaris, and his name Lord Dolheim. Music is his passion, the arts his great love. The scores of boorish, uncouth men of this land cannot begin to compare his magnificence. So refined and majestic in his poetry, why the mere thought of it brings me to ecstasy. Once he becomes our sovereign, Rena shall bloom anew, ushering a new era of prosperity for our grand civilization. Until that glorious day, I shall forever be praying for his victory, morning, noon, and night. What do you think, my lord? I poured my whole heart into hoping that it captures your essence. Anything about his lordship's love for collecting things? Well, you know, lady, I hope your fucking magnum opus.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
Yeah, because it's all about you. Alright, what about you? You want to know which lord to support? Why? Are you canvassing for someone? I am with His Excellency, Wolseley Tilidius. You probably know him better as Lord Balsam. I know a lot of people consider him to be a giant brute, believe me. But I realize he can be an aggressive man. But those people don't realize how much he looks after the members of his house. It's fair to say that House Tilidius doesn't enjoy much esteem. Those of us who serve it will be the first to admit that. But His Excellency always stands up for anyone who mean us harm. Of that we can be sure. His efforts at the crown contest aren't only for his family, but to improve the standings of each and every member of his house. Yes! I owe him so much to His Excellency, I could never dream of serving any other lord. Yes!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself?
Wow.
Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
Well, I guess we continue on. I mean, I talked to everyone.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as
No,
the
this
other
this actually looks pretty fine.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis' transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
Oh man, they're fighting. Oh shit, flamethrower. That's pretty radical. Oh, hey there, bud. Arr.
Me.
This area falls under sole jurisdiction of Lord of House Canarius. Must ask you to depart at once. Surely you don't claim to be ignorant of our famed lord or famed house. Who pulled over the Almadria. If so, I urge you to listen well. In fact, I bid you listen carefully, regardless. Have you ever noticed how the history of Lenegis, only a few women lords have emerged to compete in the crown contest? Many have theories as why that might be, but Lord Almadria squashes the doubts of any naysayers through sheer might. In fact, not only did she usurp her father and previous family master, she also removed her older brother to claim the seat for herself. She is a woman who stops at nothing to get what she wants, who gives her enemies nary the slightest opening to strike. Truly, Lord Almadria is a woman of talent. No one in all of Rena better exemplifies the virtue of our nation's meritocracy. Wow. Soon the age of a glorious woman sovereign reigning over Lenegis shall be upon us at last. I mean, I respect the hustle. She's a fucking
To
bitch.
stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Ooh, sheep meat. Meh. Oh, hello there, old man.
Ridiculous.
How loathsome. I was just reading about Volron. Can I help you?
Okay.
I was always an ardent supporter of Lord Uragel Hildirus myself. We were not for his sudden death down on the surface. I would likely be, in my eyes, Lord Uragel is the true Water Lord. I don't believe for a second that he perished in some accident, like they say. As for how Volron runs, Ganath Haros, don't get me started. I hear he enslaves not only Danans, but also his fellow Renans. We may live in a society where the victor goes the spoils, but his actions go against what we as a people stand for. Besides, what sort of family line is his house Ignaceri of his anyway? I've never heard of it until he came along, which means they must be among the lowest dregs of society. That such an ignoble lineage could suddenly produce an astral artist capable of ascending to the lordship is unheard of. None of it makes any sense, not to mention all of the upheaval around here of late. What is happening to our people? Okay, so people don't like Volron.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Haros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary,
I cannot move.
remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
That's
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah, I learned people fucking hate Boron.
I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Falstaf and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just
They were just
people.
terrible people. It's fine.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
Hell yeah, Shion. Okay, I just gained 5,100 gold just for talking to people. I can get behind that. Let me explore over here. Piss off, child. No one cares. Okay, so I'm supposed to go this way. Let's go this way. Ooh. We got a chest. Grape gel. Smack that fucking child. Get out of here. Go home.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right?
Yeah.
In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfried Milgrath.
Hanfried
former Lord of
Milgrath.
Custodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfried whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over Holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
I mean, it strikes me odd.
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
You
I don't know
and
what to
both.
believe.
Though we are Renan by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting.
Remember, we
about
gotta
that.
find the Forbidden
Let's
Zone.
get a move on.
No time to talk. There's no time to talk. What's up here? Nothing. Cool.
Doe?
Doe?
Faria.
Oh, hey, it's Faria.
Arya? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
Shut up, Law.
Why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, You still kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way.
Fuck!
Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Whoa, hold on there, bud.
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance,
Yeah,
you seek,
once
I will grant you it.
Wh-
But you must.
once we get done with this, then you
My
can
sins
fucking
are
die.
legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Whoa! Dohalim, you alright, bud? You alright there, buddy?
Dohalim. I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Yeah, didn't we learn about this when we first saw Dohalim?
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned
Yeah.
having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Bro!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Bro! Anything over here? Nope. Anything over here? Yes. Orange shell. Oh, what's going on over here? Ah, just fighting some Zoogles. Oh, more Zoogles. That's pretty neato. Dohalim. Bruh. My guy. Oh, jeez. Oh, there's an inn. Nope, nothing over there. Anything in this little crevasse? Nope. Ah. Something over here, though.
Hey, didn't we find a recipe?
Yeah,
Tofu.
we can use this for it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, let me just spooter out that fire. Get out your spooters. Oh. I'm still waiting for us to get into a fight.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know how to live it up, don't they?
They sure do.
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
I mean,
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnigan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnigan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
One that
He
you
was once
fucking
my
murdered.
dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed.
Damn, son, you just murdered him?
Despite Faria's lower class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnigan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once.
Not anymore.
I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints
Yeah.
and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing.
Down with the social hierarchy.
It was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnigan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnigan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
That's when you killed him.
What happened?
Tarnigan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
Damn, Dohalim. Damn.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Her name isn't Frank. Everyone's got their skeletons.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right.
We're all gonna be friends forever. Hello, Abakir. What's up, buddy?
Alphen,
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
All right, hey, let's end this episode because it's at 50 minutes.